Welcome once again. So happy to have you here. Nice to meet you.
Very, very happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, we are going to talk all about SMS marketing, email marketing, what retention is, your tips on how to do outreach the right way, and all those really good, really interesting things. It's actually not a topic that I talked about on the channel before, so I think it's going to be really fresh. But I know that there is going to be a lot of interest in this because I know lots of people are considering direct to consumer space and they are interested in influencer marketing, learning about that. So I think we're gonna uh, give them a lot of takeaways from this conversation. So
Great.
welcome. I'd love to start off with hearing a little bit about you. I always love to learn the stories of my guests and how did you get into marketing, perhaps specifically the area that you're currently working in. I'd love to know that because that's going to give the base to our conversation.
Sure. So, for everybody listening and watching, my name is Joanne. I am head of retention at Aisling Organics. And my journey to my position was pretty unconventional. And for the record, I'm very early in my career. I'm only 23. And so in high school and in college, I really had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I loved beauty and skincare and all things perfumes, like fashion. I loved all of that stuff. And so I wanted to take my marketing degree, which is what I was getting at the time, and really put it towards something that I loved. And so I found an internship with an organic makeup line that was actually local. It was about an hour away from campus. And I just did a marketing internship with them just to get my foot in the door, see what I liked about it. And at that time, it was a very small business. We had, I think, an 800 square foot office in downtown Andover in Massachusetts. And I was essentially just a marketing assistant. And in that process of me, just doing small like influencer projects, I dabbled in a little email marketing, just being the CEO's assistant essentially. We worked our way up to me doing email marketing. And then we saw how much revenue that could come from, just sending out a couple of campaigns a week. It was nothing big. And then that turned into SMS marketing, like, oh, this is a new platform. And this was about 2 years ago. This is a new channel that we can tap into. Let's just dive in. Let's have Joanne do it. And so I took on that project and we saw great success with it. And then here we are about a year and a half later. And those are our two main channels that we focus on as a brand is email and SMS marketing. Yeah. And so I just started doing them part-time for this local organic makeup line. And now we've grown to, a team of about 10 people. And I have a couple of interns under my belt, and
Wow.
I've launched these programs of referral and affiliates, and I've dabbled in influencer marketing. And so, if when I've been working for this small business, I mean, I'm not just doing email and SMS. I have my hands in so many different avenues and everything. So it's been an incredible journey. It was very unconventional. I didn't know, where that internship would lead, but it ended up being a full-time job, and I've loved it ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. That's actually a very good point, very good inspiration because with my audience, we regularly talk about, just getting your foot in the door, starting to learn something, starting to practice. Maybe you're going to realize that you actually hate it. Maybe it's really not for you. But then, in your case, it could also be the opposite. And you end up really liking it. You end up, staying there. The team grows, you
Mhm.
grow, and you have your own team. So who knows what kind of opportunities that could lead into. So that is fantastic. So another point that I'd love to like kind of emphasize is that once you start in a marketing role in a very small team, you do get experience in all kinds of areas in marketing. So right now, maybe you're more focused on, or maybe that's your particular interest is email and SMS marketing, or that's how I know you. Maybe that's not the truth, but you definitely do get experience in all areas of marketing, especially in smaller teams.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're head of retention right now. And for those who are unfamiliar with the term and what this role does, can you explain a little bit?
Sure. So my role solely focuses on keeping our customers, essentially customers for a really long time. So I want to increase that repeat purchase. I want to make sure that the customer has a wholesome, educational, and great experience when they come to our website and that they're learning as they come along in their journey. And that's something that we focus on very heavily at Aisling is just product education, ingredient knowledge, the whole 9 yards. Like we want our customers to feel like they can come to us, even if they don't have, even if they don't want to shop from us. We want them to come to us with any ingredient questions that they have, industry updates, whatever it might be. We just want to be a resource for our customers. And so my job is to make sure that essentially our customers have that experience in a very, clean and nice fashion.
That's a superb explanation on what retention is. Okay, so which channels can a brand use for retention? And I know that we already mentioned, like you're using SMS and email marketing primarily at Aislinn Organics, but can you see other channels being used for retention, or how can you see other channels being included in this initiative?
Absolutely. There's a bunch of different channels that you can use. Email and SMS are our predominant ones that we use on a daily basis. We also have a Facebook group exclusively for just our repeat purchasers. So if you've made a purchase with us, you get access to this exclusive group. And in that group, people can post questions about the products that they've purchased. They can, post selfies, they can ask questions, they can do a lot of different things in that group. And so what we like to use that for is, again, to encourage that second purchase, but also do it in a very nice, like non-salesy way.
Mhm.
We created a community for our customers to talk to each other, not just us to talk to them.
Yeah.
And so that's a great tip for anybody that is looking to, increase their retention, is focus on building communities within your community. So that was our first step, was in our goal in launching our VIP Facebook group. There's also different retention channels that we use, like our affiliate program, where we, reach out to our top customers to see if they want to promote our products. And we also work with influencers in that space as well. We have a rewards program to encourage repeat purchases. So customers get points based on the amount of dollars that they spend, and then also different initiatives that they can take, like leaving a review or checking out our publication, Top Clean to Me. So there's a bunch of different ways that we encourage our customers to shop again with us. And then the icing on top of that is just all of the social media that we have. So all of the content creation that we put out on Instagram Reels, TikTok, Facebook, all of that good stuff.
I was going to say that as well. Like with all the content and all the probably testimonials that you're getting from, and the reviews that you're getting from your community, is providing you with kind of crowdsourced content. Basically, it gives you the content to reshare, to repurpose in different channels. And I mean, that's the best content ever, because you're hearing about a product from someone who's actually using it, who's a customer of the brand. What's better than that? Well, I basically came across your profile through one of your tweets that kind of went viral. I think it's fair to say that. And it was really impressive, like the way you explained what happened on your journey. And it ties in well with another live stream that I did earlier on today, which was all about building in public, sharing your authentic stories, basically sharing your journey in the online space publicly. So I felt that tweet was really, it blends in really well with that method. And I will put it on the screen for everyone to see, but I want you to maybe tell us a little bit more about that. But the question I want to ask you around it is, how do you start authentic conversations and connections that lead to successful collaborations, or influencer marketing partnerships and all of that?
Yeah, of course. So for everybody wondering, my Twitter thread, it did kind of go viral, and I really wasn't expecting it to go viral. I typed that up before a doctor's appointment when I was waiting in my car. Like it wasn't a planned thing that I was like, oh, like this is a great idea, it's gonna go viral. Like, no, definitely not. And when I was in college, all of my professors really focused on building your personal brand, and I never took them seriously until a couple years into my career, when my boss said, hey, like you should jump on Twitter. There's so much value in that social network. And I didn't think anything of it. And so I finally made a Twitter, and I have learned more in that D2C community on Twitter than I have probably in my 4 years of college, which is just crazy. And so I have been working in the beauty space for about 3 years, and we have really not had a lot of success in influencer marketing. I feel like it's very difficult to connect with influencers in the beauty space because of how many beauty brands there are. It's a very saturated market. And so we've tried different content seeding where we just send product out to influencers in just the hopes that they post about it. That's worked not so much in the beginning, but now with this new strategy from my Twitter thread, it actually worked very well. And so I'll just tell you a little bit more about it. So I've been scrolling on TikTok just as everybody else does at night. And I came across these two influencers who I just felt like I really resonated with personally. And so I just sent them an email after a couple months of following them. And I just said, hey, like, I love your content so much. I'm in the role that I am right now with this beauty brand. And I'd love to just send you some products, as a genuine thank you for filming great content and just keeping me entertained, like having me like learn different things and different perspectives. And I just really appreciated it on a genuine level. And that approach to influencer marketing really had not been done by our brand. We had found influencers on Instagram that we thought could resonate with our audience. We'd send them a product, we'd send them an email, very cold, not rude by what I mean by cold, but not that personal. It's a transactional relationship. But
Yeah.
what I did with these influencers is I built something very personal to me. And so they responded right away. Like within 10 minutes, I had a response from both of them, and they combined had over 400,000 followers. And as a really small brand that we are, that's huge for us. We don't get those types of responses at all, really. And so they responded. They thought my email was so genuine and they thought it was funny and they just loved it. And they said that they would love to receive some products from us in exchange for just, posting about it organically. And that had never happened before. And so it almost shocked me in a sense that influencer marketing can be that easy. It doesn't have to be so difficult because we struggled with it so hard in the past. And creating those genuine connections, because I loved their content so much individually that it could really benefit me in my role and as a brand. So it ended up working up great. And it just really put into perspective how building those personal relationships can really go that far.
Absolutely. I love that example because I know, um, I mean, I've had a small business in the past as well, and influencer marketing is such a challenge if you just don't know how to do it. And when you take on a very personalized approach, I feel it's a lot more effort. But essentially, if it yields results, then I feel it's worth the effort that you're putting into.
Mhm.
I mean, with these two influencers that you outreach to and them having such a big audience to represent your small beauty brand is just a huge impact.
I
Um,
agree.
so I love that approach. It's just so, as you said, like it's very genuine. And I think that number one, like the personalization, being very genuine about how you message them. Probably also the fact that you use your own personal account to message them is probably another contributing factor to the success. But it's really so valuable. And also another thing that I wanted to comment on is that so far, like from what I'm hearing from you, is that all of your marketing communication is focused on giving value first versus being transactional, pushing for more sales and all of that. And that, I mean, in the long run, that always yields to more results, like bigger impact. So I don't know, obviously in Aizen Organics case, how much of a struggle it was in the first years of the business, but probably now that it's like the success is either on its way or maybe you've already achieved that success. But it's definitely going to get to a better place with all these strategies.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the basis of our brand focused on education because our founder and CEO, she had migraines and nausea for years and she couldn't figure out the reason why. And so she finally looked at her vanity and she was so focused on the products that she was consuming that she wasn't focused on the products that she was putting on her skin. And so she sent all of her beauty products to a lab and they came back with ingredients like formaldehyde, aluminum. And after she tossed all of her makeup, her symptoms subsided. And so she was just having a really horrible reaction to the products that she was using. And in that process, she did so much research to uncover what was causing these symptoms. And so when she wanted to launch this brand, that was the basis of, that was the fuel underneath her fire, was that she wanted to create a brand that she wanted to have other people come to her with any questions that they might have about different products. And she wanted to be that solution.
What
And
is
so
the story?
It's crazy. Yeah. So the whole basis of who we are as a brand is just to provide education, because I can't even imagine what she must have went through in all those years of having migraines every single day. So if any way that we can help our consumers, answer any questions or figure out what might be wrong with them, we would want to do that.
Yeah, and essentially, I think what you're doing then helps you to stand out from this very saturated market of, I don't know how many beauty brands there are, but like,
Too many.
yeah, too many to compete, especially as a small brand. But I think this is such an important differentiating factor to stand out. Um, okay, so I was going to ask you. So now that we talked about like personalizing the messages, being very genuine about the messages, doing it from your personal accounts, um, how would you approach it if the business scaled significantly? And do you think this personalized approach could be scalable?
Definitely think it could be scalable because, I mean, the way that I look at it is any brand can pick 10 influencers a month and then just engage with their content, whether that's, on your brand account, on your personal account, whatever it might be. I would start with 10, even though, I only started with two. I definitely think that it's feasible to find these influencers who you relate to personally. Like if they're in your target market, that might be great, but just find people who you think that you can genuinely build a connection with and that you would be friends with outside of all of this. And that's just my approach to it.
Oh, I
And
love
then I
that approach. Like people that you could be friends with outside of that scope.
exactly, because then that makes it so much easier when you're communicating with them via DM or via email. And at one point I was the influencer that I was emailing, she replied to me and I typed in my email. I literally dropped my pasta when I saw that you responded, and it was late at night, and so it was around East Coast, but I felt like I could relate to these people, not as influencers in a transactional relationship. So that's the first thing that I would do. And as you're scaling as a big brand, working with 10 influencers who are posting about you, like that, the amount of content that you're going to get from that, the amount of, people in their DMs and they're going to like the video, it's just going to spread like wildfire. And so over time, I definitely think that it is scalable. It's just finding the right people, I think, is the most time consuming part of it.
True. Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Okay, so I saw your TikTok account
Yeah.
where I forget the handle right now, but I will put it on either the screen or the description below. And I saw that you're giving out these really amazing tips on SMS marketing, email marketing, as you learn, as you practice them, and you're doing these audits, which I loved. So with all your experience in crafting really good outreach messages,
Mhm.
would you say that you actually have like a formula for it, or what would you recommend someone who is doing this for the first time?
Sure. So I would say that there's basically a formula. When I reached out to these influencers, it was a couple videos that I saw that really stuck to me. And so my first couple sentences of my email was, "Hey, like this video really resonated me for XYZ reason." So, for example, one influencer, she posted a video talking about makeup and how she wanted to wear makeup because she wanted to, not because of the beauty standards that are out there. And so that really resonated with me. And I responded to her in that email just saying, "I work for a beauty brand and you completely changed the way that I want to market our products." And I think that really stuck with her. And so whether you're doing conversational marketing with SMS or email, you can create impactful copy to really resonate with your customers. And so referring to that audit, I like to have something that's very personal, something that is a hook, essentially, something that somebody can relate to very fast. And then the body copy might be the purpose of that email. So what essentially you want to get out of them. And then at the bottom, it's a clear call to action. So whether that's urgency, whether that's send me your address so I can get these products to you as soon as possible, before our holiday rush or whatever that might be.
Mhm, mhm.
Just adding that urgency at the end and then just signing it off and keeping it short, simple, but effective.
Awesome. Well, that's a good formula to take note of. So another question. I mean, we talked about like some tactics or some methods that you can really stand out as a marketer in the direct consumer space already, with the successful examples that we mentioned. But who do you think can be a successful marketer in this space? And this question is important for my audience specifically because there's lots of job seekers, there's lots of people who are considering career changes, and we talk a lot about like what skills are essential, what skills are needed for different types of marketing roles. And so if you feel that a certain type of person could be a better fit for this space, or what skills are essential to be a marketer in this space, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, of course. I think number one is you have to want to help people at the end of the day. You know,
Mhm.
whatever brand you work for, I'm assuming that they're going to sell products to solve a problem. And that is the number one thing that I look out for, even as I'm hiring interns, is are they purpose driven? Do they actually want to, you know, help people uncover, you know, common skin concerns or, you know, overall improve their health in general? So that's the number one thing that I look out for. Another one is if they're coachable. So, you know, can I show them the 10 different apps that we use in a day's time and how we use them and how that they can optimize them? So being coachable is definitely something that is very important. And just nowadays, it's so important to stay up to date with trends, you know, what's working, what's not working in terms of social media, in terms of what's website design. So just being universally up to date on, you know, different trends that are in the area. So
Mhm.
I would say that those three things are very important in addition to building your personal brand. Because just like I said earlier, I was not aware at how important that is. And now that I've started to build my own personal brand over the last 6 months, I mean, I got this opportunity from Twitter and we connected and it was amazing. So you just never know what's going to happen once you start putting yourself out there and you're vulnerable.
100% agree. It's like I'm feeling this is a theme of my day today. I talked so much
Uh,
about this already, but it's so important because it starts to bring you inbound opportunities instead of you constantly seeking out for opportunities, trying to prove yourself using a resume, which I am really not a fan of anymore.
I
Uh,
know it seems so outdated when you think about it.
Absolutely. It's so outdated. Cover letters, I don't know, like I'm sure there are better ways to present ourselves online. And we were just again talking earlier today about the fact that once you start to put your stories out there, once you start to tell your journey, it gives so much more perspective into what type of person you are versus just reading a resume of a person. And
Exactly.
I love the fact that you mentioned coachable. I think this, especially for someone starting out in marketing, this is one of the most important ones because we regularly learn new tools, new skill sets, and the person needs to be adaptable. Like they need to be, as you said, coachable to learn all of these new things. The
Mhm.
expectation isn't necessarily for everyone to know everything available and to know how to use it, but it's instead, there is this thing that we are using and this is how we're going to do it. And, for them to take
Exactly.
that advice and take that new system in.
Exactly. Because if you think about it, if you're good about to hire somebody that has 20 years of Facebook ad experience, whatever it might be, those last 3 years really only matter because the platform looked completely different 20 years ago than it does right now. And
100%.
so you can really compete with anybody in any type of role digital marketing related because if you're staying up to date, if you're staying knowledgeable, if you're following these trends, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of the people who are stuck in the past and doing things the same way that they did.
100%. Yeah, I love this point because um, so recently I've learned about the no code trend or no code tools that people are using to create websites. And, when I look back maybe 5 years ago, or even a couple, like less than 5 years ago, companies were looking for specific experience in website building for some marketers. I mean, for some marketing roles, that was necessary to use WordPress, to use Webflow, to use Shopify, whatever that could be. And there was an expectation to actually use the CMS on the technical side of things. But now there's this no code movement happening and people can, within a matter of minutes, turn Notion pages into websites or other tools into websites. And it just amazes me. And the fact that, if you are up to date with what is going on, then you are going to be so much ahead of everyone else,
Mhm.
and so much more attractive to to employers and businesses.
Exactly. I agree with you because I think of it this way, especially with the recent trends. You know, you look at TikTok and TikTok made me buy it is probably the most used, headline right now, especially with ads, different ad copy and everything. And if a 35 to 40-year-old who doesn't spend any time on TikTok doesn't know about that one trend, he's probably going to suffer on his ad revenue than say a 20-year-old that's very well versed in TikTok, and they're going to use those types of trending words and hashtags in all of their ad copy. So that would be my advice to anybody, is don't feel like your lack of experience is working against you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so on that point, how do you feed yourself? Like, how do you, which resources do you learn from? Who do you follow? And who would you suggest others to follow?
Yeah, so I have learned so much from D2C Twitter in that community. There's so many supportive and helpful people there that just want to see you succeed, especially a lot of great women in there. And then I learned a lot about I learned a lot about email and SMS marketing from TikTok, believe it or not. A lot of influencers, and that's kind of what inspired me to create my own TikTok account to put out my personal experiences about SMS marketing. So I follow a lot of great people on there. And then, yeah, I pull resources from different blogs of the different apps that we use. So whether that's Octane AI, Klaviyo, Postscript, they're always putting out great information. So I'm just constantly trying to surround myself with people who are better than me and smarter than me. So then that way I can learn from them. And so those are kind of my free avenues that I like to learn from.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the resources. Sorry, the resources that the tools create that you're using. I think they are usually really, really good. And people ask me all the time, like, what blogs do you follow or what books do you read? And I'm not sure I read any marketing books anymore, to be honest, because there is more information available online. And when it comes to like very actionable things about how to do things, using a tool, I think the best information is always provided by the software companies themselves, because they are really good educators in terms of how to use their product. I like that.
Exactly.
um, and what are some brands you'd recommend anyone interested in maybe the beauty space, but also the D2C space in general, in learning more, to follow?
Yeah, so I think Three Ships Beauty is doing an incredible job. They just launched a new website, and I love going to them for inspiration. I think Bloom, they're a skincare line. They do incredible job of email marketing. There's Olipop. They do a great job of a holistic customer experience. Eli Weiss is somebody that I follow on Twitter, and I love reading all of his tweets about how he creates a better experience for his customer. And then I think CrossNet is great for just humor and marketing. I think that they do a really great job, because whenever I open their text or an email, like it always puts a smile on my face. So I know that it has to be like that for other people. So they do a really great job of just mixing in, good vibes, good feelings, happiness with their brand. So those probably three or four are some that I always look for inspiration.
That's awesome. I like that. And I guess my final question is, you're sharing your marketing secrets and learnings online, and we already talked about this a little bit, but how has this helped you so far? Like, why did you decide to share your own journey? This is always something a lot of people, I guess, feel stuck with. Like, should they share it? What's the point in sharing anything online about what they're learning, or things they're implementing into their work? So yeah, I'm curious, how has it helped you so far, and like what was the reason why you started sharing things online?
Yeah, and I was super hesitant to do so at first. I'm not really somebody that is the life of the party when they walk in. I'm very much an introvert. So it's kind of different for me to put myself out online. And I've only been doing so for the past 6 months or so. And what really inspired me is just wanting to connect with different people, because I'm from a local town in New Hampshire. It's very small. And I don't have the resources to just go out and get a coffee and see somebody that I know from work or like anything like that. And so to connect with people, I really did have to do it digitally. And so I kind of just put my foot down one day and I was like, all right, I'm going to start just sharing out my content, trying to connect with people, just to see where it gets me, because it wasn't something that I had really done in the past. And I am so glad that I did it. I'm not somebody that is afraid to fail or is afraid to, be made fun of. I played college volleyball my whole life, so I'm always used to being on a team. And I
Mhm.
was just looking for that aspect, especially working on a smaller team. And so I just took a leap of faith. I'm not afraid to, fail in front of people. I'm not afraid to share my successes either. And so that was really the basis and the foundation of where I kind of started to take my personal brand. And I'm very glad that I did, because at the end of the day, we're all just people behind these brands. And if I can help somebody, if somebody else can help me, I feel like that's just the purpose of being, a really good human being.
Yeah, I fully agree. I like I like that we focused on the education piece from a brand perspective, and from your personal standpoint as well. You're again like focused on creating value for other people.
Mhm.
You know,
And something that my boss always tells me every single day is you're not going to grow in your role if you don't grow as a person. And that's something that she really puts at the forefront of anything professional development and personal development. And she's a really great inspiration with that, just balancing work-life balance, making sure that I'm taking care of me before anything else. So that's a great,
you
tip
that
for
with
anybody
a
that's
manager.
yeah. I mean, I'm very lucky to have the boss that I do.
Fantastic. Oh, that's amazing. Well, I learned so much already. I'm sure this conversation was really valuable for other people as well. Watching the video, the longtime viewers of the channel as well, because this is a new topic we covered. So thank you so much for all the
Sure.
insights you shared. Yeah,
Thanks for
it
having
was really good meeting you. I guess this is as close as it gets in real life right now.
me. I know. Yeah, so I'm very happy that you invited me on, and thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Awesome.
Awesome. Bye bye.